since you're familiar, obviously, with Egypt, are you willing to cross over the border and talk about Libya?
Libya?
Willing to talk about Libya? Yeah, and before you move to Libya, do you have the names in your mind? Do you have the names of potential influential Egyptians who will be the future leaders of that country?
There are two names that have been mentioned. One is Mohammed al-Baradei, who used to be head of the atomic energy, the international. He doesn't seem to be as popular as some people on the outside think. The other is Amr Moussa, who is an Egyptian diplomat and who is now head of the Arab League. He seems at the present reading to be the most likely candidate. He owes me a lunch, by the way. I don't know if any of you all on the tour in which he lectured to us. I had written to a friend of mine in the foreign ministry and said, could we have our tour group have a briefing on Egypt? And he said, yeah, we'll set it up. So when it came time to have the thing, it turned out they had moved the briefing place from the old foreign ministry to a new building. So we had to hustle up a bus or two and get down there. And when we got there, there was Amr Moussa, who was then the foreign minister. And he said, I want to try out this new conference room. We haven't had anybody in there. I want to see if these microphones work. So that was our first our contact with him. Very impressive guy, but not a psychopath for us. He will be difficult, but that's all right. That's what diplomats are paid for, is to get along with difficult people. Now, the other question was... Oh, Libya. I think we got a little bit out in front of ourselves on Libya. I think President Obama did. Gaddafi has a regime that had a very firm control over that country. And the opponents that he had were largely based in the east, in Benghazi. We didn't know anything about those opponents. We didn't know what kind of organization they have. We didn't know who those people are, what their orientation is. We didn't know nothing about it. But Obama took the position that Gaddafi had to go. So he staked out that position, which then became necessary that we do something about it. And I'm afraid that doing something about it has now led us into the collision that we have just had and may be continuing. I was in favor of it the other day. My feeling was that if we didn't stop Gaddafi, he would slaughter the people who were his opponents. Out of a sheer humanity, we had to go and help and prevent that from happening. The question now, though, is how do we get somebody in Libya who will be able to manage the country? I think it's going to be very difficult. I think we have to wait a good time. We have to keep the pressure on the Libyan regime. Eventually, I think it will split. It will sunder apart, and Libyans who are not demonic or evil people will come to the fore and take over. That's the best hope we have. I don't see, so that you'll have a replacement government for Gaddafi that may be able to make some kind of deal with the opponents. I don't see the opponents as sweeping in and coming to power by themselves, however.